Our trip begins in New Jersey, my home. We plan to drive over 2,100 miles to get to Yellowstone, and then another 2,100 miles back. And I'm taking my dog. We start the trip how most trips west start, Route 80. The unofficial starting point is the Delaware Water Gap, where the highway crosses the Delaware River through the mountains and into Pennsylvania. The Pennsylvania Highway goes through hills and valleys, making great scenery. Then we go through the Allegheny Mountains to mark the halfway through the state. Once an interesting truck passes, I can stop recording. Is Lou in the recording? He is! Oh, that was cute. Look at this dude's parking job! They really just let us take these. Yeah. We could have easily we could have easily stole that. Never in New Jersey. We had dinner just off 80 and head off to make the rest of our journey. We decided to take another break for the dog a bit closer to Ohio. Yes, dog! We stayed the night just past the border and got ready for the long drive the next day.
No, we don't need it. So why is this leaking?
And we begin today in Cleveland, specifically Wendy Park, where there's a beautiful lighthouse on Lake Erie. It was surprisingly pretty.
Second.
Cleveland, that's cool. Then we take the highway through Toledo and the rest of the state. Oh, lottery. However, the number one thing to do in Ohio is leave, so we moved on to Indiana. The Indiana section of the highway mostly consisted of fields and irrigation sprayers. Soon, we decided to head up to Sturgis, Michigan, so we could cross the state off while it was near. None of the bathrooms had anywhere to sit with the dog, and I was afraid of our front porch getting stolen, so we decided to stop back in Indiana on our way to the dunes. But of course, something bad had to go wrong. This is the check. Okay, we're at a Jiffy Lube getting an oil change, because oil. I know, that's a helipad. We needed an oil change because our rental company didn't do it before we got the car. And since it was a Saturday, the company wouldn't approve it to get fixed. We decided to go onto the dunes. Where we went to the park, they didn't require any passes to get in, and it seemed like more of a public beach with some hiking trails. The dunes are large, but the heat and the direct sunlight were harsh today. I enjoyed it, but it was off to Gary. There you go. Look at that church. Gary used to be a large city with a booming automotive industry. However, the death of the industry and many other factors led most of the city and a bunch of the large buildings to run derelict. Today, we go to see City Methodist Church, one of the great examples of how prosperous the city once was. Yeah, this is City Methodist Church. And, yeah, I mean, it used to be a big church and now it's abandoned. People can have weddings and you can actually go explore if you have a permit. I'm gonna take some pictures. But then it was time to move on to the highlight of our day, Chicago. This city needs no introduction, a beautiful place for architecture and art. We walked around a bit, saw the Bean and some buildings, and got some deep dish pizza.
Wait, where's my camera?
Chicago deep dish pizza. I'm gonna put my hand in. Yeah, don't touch your hands, kids. with that top-down shot. Dog in Chicago, what would he do? Being in the rain was a different experience entirely. It was really weird to see all the people running out of the benches and see the people try to get their kids under control when it was raining and storming. Okay, Chicago vlog. We love it. It's wet in Chicago. Those big towers are wet. I hate when the fountains get wet. It's literally shower time. Is this not fun? Do you want the umbrella? Hey yo, they said hi.
So I ordered the food.
Yeah.
These are 2 bags.
Not it. You want to? No, it's fine. We'll just do that. Claire, it's still wet.
Yesterday. I'll just order this.
After sunset, we tried to go to the Riverwalk after Millennium Park. The problem was, it went under an underpass and there were a lot of homeless people and muck all over the dog. I recommend that if you do want to go for Millennium Park, you go straight to the Riverwalk and don't try and take the shortcut and do the whole thing once. The rumble of the elevated trains was a constant reminder of exactly where we are. Photography is one of my favorite hobbies, and it's the reason I started YouTube. After that subway picture I got this morning, the bad feelings of yesterday disappeared. Except for the fact that we came out to the bean too early and got kicked out. So now we're on our way to the Rockman sculpture, on our way to Wisconsin. I was in the back watching the dog. We stopped along the Rock River in Rockford, Illinois to see the sculpture. Then it was off to Madison. But first we stopped at a cheese farm to buy some snacks and get a drink. I like the cream soda, and we got really long strings of cheese. Sheesh, it is hot as hell. Fried cheese curds. We love it. We got a bite in the city, now we head on to the Dells. A pretty touristy area, the Dells is filled with water parks. Itself, it's an area with a huge dam and beautiful rock formations along the Wisconsin River. It reminded me of the Poconos or Wildwood back by us. And just like that, we cross the Mississippi, the gateway to the west. And pretty soon, we see another important monument to westward expansion. It's really pretty, and I love the views. Hiking up Sugarloaf. Fun. It's a long way down. You can't see it. You'll see it at the overlook in a second. Sugarloaf. It's a thing that exists. westward expansion. It was in a lot of the paintings that symbolized that time period. Time to head off to our hotel in Minnesota. Albert Lea is a pretty quaint town. Albert Lea Walmart vlog, episode 1. Souvenir shopping in a Walmart, what? We went to the souvenir shopping in Walmart and enjoyed our short stay. 5 stars, Albert Lea. We left early this morning on our way to South Dakota. First stop, Blue Earth, the Jolly Green Giant. Why? Because it's there. Afterwards, we got pulled over by an unmarked car. We have a Georgia license plate, so they were a bit more cautious with us.
Slow down a little bit and have a safe trip.
All right.
Knowing how many unmarked cars are ahead of you, I would slow down.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks. You too.
Now it's cruise control until the state line. And into Sioux Falls, at the waterfall. It was flat and beautiful, better than any of the pictures online. There weren't many people, and there was an observation tower to see everything. City, the main street was lined with dozens of statues. My favorite was the person jumping off the mushroom. But we can't stay long, so we're off to the Corn Palace in Mitchell. It was very odd, but I think it was pretty cool. The town hall is next to this giant palace made of corn. We can't stay long. Time to go to one of the places I'm most excited for on the trip. The Dignity of Earth and Sky is a statue of a Native American overlooking the Missouri River. Easily the most beautiful part of the trip so far. I don't know what it is, but this and the overlook just inspire me. Even just crossing the river and going to the overlook sparks some wonder in me. This was part of the Lewis and Clark Trail, and the terrain after the river made me want to explore. We're on our way to the Badlands, but not before we stop at Wall Drug, possibly the most advertised place in the state. Giant mall rest stop with some shops and food. I don't see anything that piqued my interest, so we decide to head into the Badlands. This might be my favorite national park. Just look. I don't know what it is. Maybe the grassland and cliff faces, maybe the wildlife, maybe that we came late in the day with amazing weather. Today's just clicking. The little collars on the sheep to track their locations. I wonder how the logistics of that works. As much as I love it, we have to leave. On to Rapid City. The dinosaur park is exactly what it sounds like. A park on top of the mountain with dinosaur sculptures. What nice sculptures and a nice view of the city. Today was a great day. You're a very odd person. This morning we head on to Mount Rushmore, the most famous place in South Dakota. There's 4 presidents' faces here. Nothing that there aren't hundreds of pictures of already, though. It was pretty small, but putting Snapchat filters on Washington was pretty fun. There is a small trail that lets you see around the Black Hills, but the smoke from recent wildfires made the haze way too bad. It always annoys me how easily a trip can get ruined by someone being unsafe with fires. However, now we head to the bigger and less famous stone monument in the Black Hills, Crazy Horse. This is a beautiful mountain carving of Crazy Horse, a leader during the Indian Wars in the 1800s. Once completed, it will be the biggest carving on Earth, and seeing it in progress was amazing. They also let you take rocks from the blast, which is another awesome souvenir. Driving through the Black Hills, there's tons of touristy towns that you can stop at, but that really isn't our thing. On the way through the Black Hills, we stop at a lake to get some pictures. So we decided to drive to Bridalveil Falls, our last stop before the real focus of our trip, Wyoming. Yeah, there wasn't much at the falls. It was hot and we didn't stay too long with our dog. Bit overhyped, I think. On to Wyoming, and our first stop, Boar Buffalo Drum. It was smaller than I expected, and it was just a sinkhole where buffalo would be led and trapped by Native Americans to get killed for food. Pretty cool. Now on to the last site before we sleep in Wyoming, Devil's Tower. Large basalt column that juts out over the hills below. There were prairie dogs along the valley, and the visitor center had amazing views of hawks catching the updraft from the butte. And what a butte it was! The more we travel west, the more I see the slight differences between the places we go. The land is beautiful and the people have been really nice. I was talking with my family this morning, and I said that if the trip ended now, it would still feel like a perfect vacation. But it isn't over. Yet at least. We still have over a week to go exploring the beauty of Wyoming at Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and the Beartooth Highway. So tune in next week to see the different places and things on the next leg of our trip.